Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Offering for your consideration these success frameworks, behavioral models, and life lessons that if you should find value in them, that you subscribe and deploy all over your life, leadership, and business. Here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise. Broadcast by the Island City Media Group from Dash Radio's Hollywood studios, and coming to you today from the world-renowned Famecast studios here in Santa Monica, California, where we have the co-founder, Brother Rex, in the building. And here, they say this all the time about serial entrepreneurs with over 30 years of experience in the internet, technology, and media and software industries. Rex is currently the CEO and co-founder of this studio, Famecast, an all-in-one creator, operating system, and technology platform that helps creators and influencers launch, manage, and grow their brand businesses. Previously, Rex was the chairman and co-founder of eVideoSmart, acquired in 2023, the leading OTT online video platform in Asia with over 100 million active users. CEO of Quello, acquired in 2018, which is the Netflix of concerts with over 1 million subscribers. And then CEO of co-founder of 8, the number 8, Zhen Media, acquired in 2017, the leading Asian multi-channel network with over 5 billion video views. Co-founder and CEO of Dave.tv, acquired in 2008, one of the first online video platforms powering over half of Hollywood's first generation video and media companies such as Disney and MGM. Founding investor in Applied Semantics, acquired by Google in 2003, which developed AdSense. CEO and co-founder of, pronounce this for me, Rex, INEX, okay, INEX, acquired in 2003, a leading high-performance computing server manufacturer, and Envision Computers, acquired in 1998, a leading PC manufacturer. Rex has founded, as you could tell, the long list of these golden multi-million-dollar companies that I just talked about, startups, and achieved numerous successful exits, creating shareholder value in excess of a B, with a B, capital B, for $1 billion in excess. Welcome to the Coach V Show, your boy, Rex. Hey. Welcome to the show, Rex.
Thank you for having me, Coach V.
Man, thank you. I knew, because Sylvia told me you're a top-of-the-line business person that has business acumen and also the experience to really do whatever it is you want. Mm-hmm. And so where did it all start? Where did you grow up? Talk to us about that.
It all started because I came from an entrepreneurial family, and my dad, he came to the States from Hong Kong with $700 in his pocket, and started, as he was putting himself through college, he kind of started doing handyman. He was a waiter, right? And ended up building one of the largest Asian construction companies out in San Francisco. And so when I was growing up, I got to see that entrepreneurial piece.
Hustle.
The hustle,
grind, right?
Exactly, and so I was trying to follow in his footsteps. The real reason was I also didn't want to work for him, because he was, at least at the time, I felt a slave driver.
Right.
But in hindsight, I learned how to type on a IBM Selectric typewriter, because I used to type his letters. I learned spreadsheets because I was working on his estimates. So I learned at the time Lotus 123. This is a long time ago.
Yeah. Is that 70s? 80s?
I'm not that old.
My bad, Rex. My bad. 80s?
80s,
for sure.
Yeah, and then I learned how to transition from the typewriter to word processor, which was at the time WordStar and then WordPerfect, and basically type letters, on a word processor, and that's where I grew my love for computers. And so once I had that, I said, well, I need to buy my own computer. And then somebody told me, oh, you can actually build those. I said, how do you do that? And so I ended up learning how to build my own computer.
Wow.
And then my dad goes and brags around, oh, my son built this computer. And I said, well, and he says, oh, can you do that for me? And so I ended up starting to sell computers. This is when I was around 13.
13 years old. You were building and selling computers at 13 years old.
And I ended up selling that computer for double. And I said, hey, this is pretty good, right? And so and my dad had other friends and started selling 2, 4, 8, 20. And all of a sudden it was a business. And so that's kind of how I started in entrepreneurship, is trying to sell my own computer. And then I said, oh man, this is a good racket. I'm going to sell more of these.
That's awesome. So for the American traditions and American dream, where you start by selling lemonade and having a lemonade stand, my man Rex went straight to computers. That's pretty amazing. Introduce the family dynamic, right? So this is what I know in terms of child development. And so I'm the executive director, CEO of a nonprofit where we use sports to teach kids fundamental life lessons. Yep. Kids model, they do, and they become what they see at the home. Huge for you. Talk about that. And what are the life lessons other than entrepreneurial, learning some things, learning the hustle and the grind of being an entrepreneur? What else did your parents model for you at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, I saw my mom also had a travel agency, so I kind of saw on both sides, that entrepreneurship.
That's right.
But like I said, I didn't like working for my dad at the time. So I told my dad, I want to go work at McDonald's. And my dad says, what are you, crazy?
Yeah, right.
And so I said, well, okay, I guess I can't work at McDonald's. Yeah. So I said, well, I like computers. So I actually ended up consulting, and it helped that my dad already had a really extensive network.
Yeah, that's right.
So he knew a lot of business people, and essentially I said, oh, I don't want to work for my dad, and I was getting paid about $75 an hour to help people with their computer problems.
I mean, not bad compared to McDonald's back then, right? That was like $3.75 an hour or something like that.
$3.35
yeah,
an hour.
Back in the 80s, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. So that was a huge step up, but it was really my dad going, wow, you can't do the McDonald's thing, right? So, but as a kid, I'm like, oh, I love McDonald's. I wouldn't mind working there because
I like the food, because that way I could be there all the time. That's right. So talk about the neighborhood as well. So you have your parents had a network and a community of people that allowed you to be successful. But also talk about your neighborhood in San Francisco. I think you called it the Twin Peaks area. Talk about growing up there, what you learned, maybe the schools you went to, junior high, high school, talk about that, and what life lessons did you learn at that time that led to today?
Well, I mean, in terms of school, I went to a Lowell High School, which was a pretty well-known high school.
What high school is it?
Lowell.
Lowell High School.
Yeah.
I never heard of Lowell though, but I'm not really from that area.
It's probably the best public high school in the West Coast. Right?
Wow.
And we had a lot of cool people go there, like one of the governors, Governor Brown went there.
I did.
There was numerous people. It's been around since the 1800s.
Yeah, because he is a Bay Area guy, right?
Exactly.
So he's from there. Yeah.
And so it's a place that a lot of good academics. You actually have to get a pretty decent GPA to get in.
Yeah.
And so, that was more the competitive piece. It was quite competitive. But I was already running a business while I was going to high school, and so it was kind of an interesting dynamic of trying to do that while also hanging out with friends and stuff like that. Because I had to do that, then I had to go back and work. I was building computers. I was creating ads. I was selling. Right. So I was doing all that, and that's how I kind of learned different skills, like how to deal with people, right? Sales psychology, right? I think I've seen almost every sales psychology of every type of customer, right?
Yes.
From the I don't care, whatever the price, I want it, to the no, I want to get every penny from you type of a haggler type of a customer, and everywhere in between, and trying to negotiate and work that out. And so I think that was really more of the setting that I had. And then on the other side, it was just, hang out with friends,
Right, right.
playing baseball or basketball, right? And it was trying to balance that because on the one end, I was making a pretty decent amount of money. And on the other end, I still wanted to be a kid.
Yeah, that's a trip. But you had at a very early age versus an employee mindset and owner mindset, because you saw your parents have it, where a lot of kids were stressed to have the grades and make sure you get good grades so you could get into a college and make enough money to have a career. Mm-hmm. Yours was different. Can you talk me through how you saw life and business back then?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge was always trying to figure out, well, do I need school? Because
that's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Right?
'Cause I don't need to do school because my parents have already been a model of how to make money.
Yeah, but my parents also had the pressure of, well, you need to go to school.
Go to school.
Right?
That's right.
It's the typical Asian family.
Right.
My mom was not a tiger mom, so she let us be. But there was certain rules that you had to do, right? And so you had to go to school, you had to get good grades, right? But there's no pressure on, the typical, you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, right? It was like, look, you're doing well with what you do, but you also have to get the discipline and all the regular basics out of the way, right?
Yeah, so I'm not worried about my kids' opportunities when they grow up to figure out how to support themselves. I tell my kids it's a direct reflection on the family. If you get straight A's, that's a good reflection on the family, right? So do they need school? No. But excellence in one thing is excellence in all things, and mediocrity in one thing leads to mediocrity in everything. Yep. What are your thoughts on that in terms of children approach and back in your childhood? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do think that you need to do what you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to do it.
Yep.
Right. So you need to do something that you have passion.
That's right.
I mean, if you look at, I saw some statistic that on average, 5 years after graduating college, most people aren't practicing the degree that they studied.
No question.
Right.
No question. Right.
And so you have to be passionate. If you're miserable at what you're doing, you're not going to do it very well.
Right.
So I think the first part of it is really passion. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. And if you're passionate about what you're doing, you're going to do it really well.
Yeah.
So I believe that core and fundamental is first. And that's why I think the educational system should be more about putting or instilling that passion and making it fun, because if it ain't fun, why do it? Right?
Yeah, no question.
Right.
I do love that. Talk about college. Where did you go to school?
I went to UC Davis.
Oh yeah, you're an Aggie just like me, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I went to UC Davis. You're looking at the captain of the football. Not just joking. I was a co-captain for the defense at UC Davis, and I graduated in 2002. Okay. Now, I was a 22-year-old sophomore. That made me a 26-year-old graduate from UC Davis. Okay. Talk about picnic days. Remember picnic day back at Davis? Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember that.
Oh, you were busy studying all the time. That's what he was doing. Or he was partying, one or the other. So talk about your UC Davis experience, and let me ask and tell you why for me. That place changed my life. I went there as a 23-year-old, 22-year-old sophomore, and I learned discipline. Everything my mom and dad was talking to me about. But now, because it was associated to my last chance in making sure that I can play football, and I got a degree out of it, but it really was ingrained in me, and it created a lifestyle and a life approach that has helped me benefit in my business operations and what I do today. What did you learn in your experience in your college days at UC Davis? And I liked you before this, but now I really like you because you an Aggie. Yeah, we've been at Davis going through the same bullshit, quarter system and the curriculum at UC Davis that I did. Well, how was Davis and what did you learn?
I only stayed for a year. So I
wasn't that good. It took me longer than a year to graduate.
Yeah, because basically my business was doing well, and I was paying more attention to that, and the degree wasn't going to get me any further. And I'm not.
That's right. That's real talk, though.
I mean, college is great, and I think college, for most people, if anything else, it's not even about the profession, where certain professions require that degree, but it was more about discipline and also working with community, working with people, and
Yes.
stuff like that. But at the time, I was already kind of like, well, I have a business. I had 4 computer stores when I went into college.
How old were you?
I was 18, 19.
18,
right?
19
Yeah.
years old. You had 4 computer stores, and you're trying to go to UC Davis and be a full-time student.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was pretty distracted, right? And honestly, business was doing well, right? So when I went to Davis was 1990, right? And it was taking off, and UC Davis is a little out there, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so I find myself going back and forth from San Francisco to Davis a lot, right? And so, to me, I don't think the typical college experience.
That's right.
That's why if I don't.
You don't know picnic days. That's why he doesn't know picnic days, because he wasn't a struggling college student like we were. You were making cheddar, and you're like, picnic days, I ain't got time for that.
Yep.
And then so talk about the transition of going, you know what, school is not for me. This is what I should be doing, and how you prioritize that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of stores, I ended up, and the stores were in the Bay Area, I ended up coming down to LA and kind of building more stores, right? And we built 3 more stores down here, right? And kind of doing it. And, the business, early on in the computer business, my mom kind of saw, oh, you're going to school, you're trying to run this. So she brought in my uncle, and we became partners. That's how we were able to run it, because obviously I'm still also going to school. And he took care of a lot of the business and financials. I was dealing with operations, basically advertising, marketing, how do we sell it, those type of things. And I think that was kind of my MBA, to kind of learn the ropes of, how do you run a business? How do you sell? How do you market, right? So I was building ads. There was something called desktop publishing at the time, where you would build ads, and we had 15-page ads in at the time these computer shopping magazines, there was one called Micro Times and Computer Currents. There was a national book called Computer Shopper, and then when we moved down here, we started doing advertising in the LA Times. We had full pages in the LA Times, right? And so we kind of learned, and that's how I learned how to do advertising, marketing. Of course, that's now changed, because people don't read newspapers anymore.
That's right.
I don't even think those magazines exist anymore.
That's right.
Right? But today's marketing and advertising is just a variation with a different message or a different package. But it's the same thing.
Different platform.
Different platform. But the human aspect of it is still there. The psychology, what people buy, how do you market to them, what attracts them, it's still all there.
Yeah, so talk about your experience in the transition of ad spend. It's still ad spend then or now, right? I mean, do you remember the JCPenney's or the Sears catalog for Christmas?
Yep.
That is gone. Like, people have no idea what that was. My father supported our family by running an ad in the Penny Saver.
Okay, yep.
Right, back in those days, back in the 80s and early 90s, right?
Yep.
Can you talk about the transition of that and now into the digital age?
I mean, and a lot of my background after those computer stores was kind of in digital transformation, right? Coming from being a part of the company that built AdSense, which basically is all those ads on the side of Google. So that was a transition.
Yeah, let's unpack that AdSense on Google. Did you sell that as well? Did you?
Oh no, that was sold to Google.
Yeah, that was sold to Google, right? Can you explain what that was and how you packaged it and sold it? If you could share the amount.
Well, we were a search engine,
Yes.
which was contextual. So we started off matching. For example, if you typed in bulls, then we could match that to, or we actually asked you which of the 11 meanings of bulls were you talking about, and that could be cattle. That could be stock market, bull market. That could be the Chicago
Bulls, right?
It could be the running of the bulls, right?
Right.
And if you pick Chicago Bulls, then we said, okay, you don't care about the other 10 meanings. You're not talking about the animal. You're not talking about the running of the bulls. You're talking about Michael Jordan at the time. Michael Jordan, right. Chicago Bulls.
Right.
So we would say, hey, okay, you must be interested in Michael Jordan, the NBA, basketball, the United Center, which is where they played, right? Chicago, right? and that's what we would give you, right? So that was a contextual, meaning-based search engine that was built around that. And we were powering Alta Vista, which was in the day bigger than Google, right? And kind of when the .bomb happened, we kind of had the transition, and Yahoo came to us and said, can you match search terms to display ads? Because Yahoo at the time was big on actually big ads, right? And so for example, if you typed in London, give me Expedia. But if you type in Jack in front of London, give me Amazon, because Jack London is now an author, not a location.
That's right.
And so we matched those ads with the search terms. And if you typed in Jack London and it was Amazon, you're probably clicking it, but if it's Expedia, you're probably not clicking it. So that's the whole concept of AdSense. And it was actually Yahoo's to take. And we were powering this company called GoTo.com, which was actually the inventor of all those text ads.
Okay.
Right.
That's amazing.
And it just happened they were trying to buy the company, and Google was actually copied them but made it a little better. They paid twice the money and they ended up buying the company. So
your company.
And yes, so that's why AdSense is a Google product, not a Yahoo, not a GoTo product.
How much did they buy it for? Can you share that?
102 million.
$102 million. Yeah. That is amazing. So now let's jump back to what you were talking about going from paper advertising, right, and magazines to now digital.
Yeah, so after that, I actually did a number of startups. Dave TV, which stood for Distributed Audio Video Entertainment. Us geeks love acronyms.
I love that too. I'm a geek.
Yeah, so Dave TV was, actually it was basically, we were trying to build Roku 4 years before Roku. It was a set-top box. Now it costed way too much, it was $400. And we were trying to deliver, at the time we called it internet TV. TV over the internet, right?
Right. What a concept, now called streaming.
Yes. and it was a $400 box, so it was expensive, right? And we tried to approach all these TV providers on, hey, deliver TV over the internet. So I remember meeting with NBC, which at the time was owned by GE, and they said, well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know, but we're willing to give you content. Here's what we'll do, right? Give us $10 million, give us 5% of your company, and give us 70% of all the revenues you take. And we kind of were scratching our head like, wait, $10 million, and that's just NBC. I got to get maybe CBS, ABC, a few others.
Yeah.
Right, so, geez, I need $50 million. I need to give away half my company, right? And I still will only make 30% of what I get. I still got to market the damn thing.
Yeah.
Right? And we quickly said, oh, geez, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? So we actually had to pivot, and we ended up saying, well, we can't do that. And in 2005, YouTube was bought by Google. But at the time, everybody in the media business hated YouTube, right? So Viacom, which owns CBS, they were suing YouTube, saying you're stealing our content, because fans were uploading the content, right? And they're going like, you're stealing our content, you need to pay us, right? And so all these media companies hated YouTube, but they loved the idea of user-generated content, right? And because they were looking at it and going like, well, wait, people are watching this content that people upload, right? That isn't really well produced, but people love it because it's authentic.
And costs less money to produce and make.
Exactly. So we said, okay, we're not making it in the set-top box business. Why don't we go to the media companies and let's pitch them? And I happen to know this guy named Vin DeBona. He was the producer of America's Funniest Video.
Yeah.
I looked at that, and it's like, oh, that's like YouTube 0.1, right? That's like the original YouTube, except they were sending tapes. Let's bring them into the YouTube generation. So I went to Vin and I said, hey, what if we can turn your tape submissions into online uploads? And he says, oh, that's actually a good idea. Let's go meet ABC and the Disney guys, where the show was on. And we pitched ABC, and ABC said, wow, this is pretty good, right? Could we do this for other stuff, right? And so they wanted to put it in like Good Morning America, so that you could upload like your best wedding video, right? Or whatever. And ABC News for something that at that time was citizen journalism, right? And so we went up to Disney, and Disney said, hey, let's just do an enterprise deal. And that's how we landed Disney. Disney was our first customer. And we were powering Disney Channel, ABC News. We even had a primetime TV show called iCaught, which was not using a smartphone. This is 2006.
Right.
It was using a flip phone where people were capturing the news on their flip phone. And then they had a primetime show that featured all the, flip phone captured content that citizens were capturing.
With low quality pixel, and it still went.
Yeah, and I remember the first clip that we did was, I don't know if you recall, there was a bridge in Minnesota that fell down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so somebody captured that on a flip phone, and that was the first breaking video as part of the show that we actually did, and that was iCaught.
That is pretty amazing. So the list of like really your Super Bowl trophies of businesses created and sold, bringing market value to all the investors in those businesses is pretty renowned, right? Like, what would be your message to the world, taking all of the culmination of those experiences and going, hey, this is what Rex thinks about life, leadership, and business. What would be your message?
Follow your passion.
Go ahead. Take that camera right there and tell the viewer what your message to the world would be.
Follow your passion, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Is if you're passionate about something, you're going to do it 110%. It's your baby, and you're going to bring it, right? And so, and I think that's entrepreneurship.
That's right.
Is it's about doing the thing you want to do or believe you're going to do and following it through. Because a lot of people have the idea, but they don't follow it through.
Say that again, Rex. Most people what?
They have the idea, but they don't follow through.
Real talk.
Right. And that's kind of what we're doing here at Famecast. So Famecast, this is a studio, but we call it a creator business accelerator. And what we're doing here is we're trying to empower creators who are passionate. They're part of, quote unquote, the passion economy.
That's right.
Right. And creators are great at the creative stuff, but they don't have the structure typically. And I'm not saying that.
Standard operating procedures, an actual process, replicable steps that replicate success. Come on.
So we're here to help grow and amplify creators and help them build out their businesses, right? And so we give them tools, we give them a platform, we give them studio, right? We create events that allow them to collaborate and meet up with other like-minded creators that are also trying to build. And we give them ways, for example, to build a business, which, for example, a lot of creators want to do merch, but they don't know how to find or source it. They don't know how to create it. They don't know how to build the e-commerce site to launch it. They don't know how to market it, right? And most creators' ideas of merch is more like a drop. Like, oh, I'm going to build this product and I'm going to drop it on my gram, right? Which that's great for that one-time push, but that's only going to last.
It's not a sustainable model.
And that's what we're trying to teach creators and help them build, so that it's not a one-off. It's something that they can build into a real business, right? Because believe it or not, I have creators with millions of followers that still can't monetize those followers, right? Because they don't know how to build a business behind it. They know how to create content, they know how to do selfies, they don't know how to build a business behind it, right? And that was not hard maybe even a year ago when the economy was humming, right? There's lots of free money and brands were throwing brand deals, right? So if you had 1 million followers, like somebody's gonna say, oh, here's 20 grand, do it in an Instagram story.
But oh, how it has changed.
So that's all dried up because influencer marketing and influencer content, brands pay for that only when the economy is good, because those are what we call brand awareness type or image type campaigns. They don't relate to real sales. Meaning, if an influencer says, "Oh, I love this, whatever, this great shirt," right? Well, that's great, but it doesn't translate typically into sales. It just gives you cred.
Transactions.
Right. Whereas the advertising that works, and this is why the biggest companies today are companies like Google and Facebook, is that they bring advertising that goes to basically a call to action, a click to action, right? So that you're actually selling that shirt and you know every dollar you spend, or you're not even spending the money until somebody buys that shirt. And that was what we built really at AdSense, was the connectivity to, oh, you like that shirt, buy that shirt, right? And so moving forward to today, that's really the fundamentals about what creators have to get about business.
Wow, that is so intriguing. And fundamental, so if they're missing that, they can't transact that into business, their influence or their brand into marketable, sustainable, consistent revenue.
Yes, and so this is what we're kind of doing. And the last 20 years, I have been concentrating on helping big media companies, the Disneys, the MGMs, building their platforms as they went from, traditional, which is TV, newspaper, magazine,
That's right.
radio, to online, where it's streaming, right? Or it's podcast, right? Or it's blogs, which are the digital equivalents of what all those are. And the difference is really, if you look at how they make money, and this is why media companies are on the decline, is these companies make money on advertising. Think about it, Google, Facebook make money on advertising.
Right.
The difference is Google and Facebook can tell you pretty much what every person who clicked on your ad, who it is, where they're located, what they do, even what their income is. On all the traditional advertising, you don't know.
That's
like
right.
TV is still based on Nielsen's. Nielsen's is a survey of 100,000 households that represents 100 million households, right? But it can be wrong, right?
That's right.
During one of the presidential campaigns in 2016, they had a poll where I think it was LA Times, and they polled and said, oh, black people in LA are gonna vote Trump.
Right.
Right? And the reason why is, well, if you look at a poll, it's even less. It's like 1,000 people. So one person who, that person was probably black, represented, and I don't know how many people are in LA, but
people.
Let's say it's 300,000.
Right.
That one person represented 300,000 because that's the statistic.
Yeah.
Right? And that person filled out on his survey, oh, I'm gonna vote Trump.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't right, but that's how the poll came out.
Yeah.
Nielsen is just a bigger version of that, right?
Gotcha.
So it can be wrong. And so if you're basing your advertising decision on, oh, that guy is gonna go one way when he actually goes the other way, it's what we call addressability. How is that gonna work?
And then a misrepresentation of reality.
And Google and Facebook, in their each unique ways, allows you to target. Like Facebook knows because, well, that's why they give away free social platforms, because you fill out a profile and you say certain things, right?
Yeah,
And of course, even if you don't say, they see you clicking on things. Like they could see you clicking on Biden versus Trump, right?
Yeah, right.
And they say, oh, okay, you like Biden or you like Trump, right? And so that is basically what Facebook can tell you, but a TV broadcaster can't tell you that.
That's right.
And so that's why, if you're an advertiser, and that's just why presidential campaigns, we're coming into another presidential campaign. This is why online is so big for a presidential campaign. And in a presidential year, advertising spend goes up 50%.
Wow.
Because, think about it. Just the two major presidential campaigns are probably raising $1 billion each.
Yeah.
You have minor campaigns that are raising 50 million, 100 million. Then you have all the other races, the Senate races, the House of Representatives. And today, even, I think one of the most expensive Senate races was $100 million.
That's right.
So there's probably an influx of 20 to $30 billion coming in for advertising just for campaigns. And that happens every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Right?
Yep.
And the beneficiaries of that are now the online, the Googles and Facebooks, because they want to know, am I reaching the voter, right?
Yeah.
That I want to reach, and am I getting that to vote? And so that's where it's changed. And creators are a mix in that because that drives influence, right? And,
That's right.
And so creators are a big mix into that. And what we saw after helping media companies for the last 20 years was that, hey, creators are the new media companies.
Yes.
Because, think about this, you used to get your news in the newspaper,
That's
the
right.
radio.
That's right.
Right? Now, where do most people get their news?
Social media.
Social media. And it might be right or wrong, okay?
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
right.
not always true,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
You get your news on social media. And who do you follow on social media?
Influencers.
Right?
And
You
people
don't follow a company. You don't follow a media company. You don't follow Disney or ABC. You follow
Dwayne Johnson,
Dwayne
The
Johnson,
Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm trying to say is you follow people. And so people are, and personalities in particular, are media companies. But they don't have the tools. And just like 20 years ago when the media companies were trying to figure out how to transition into digital, right? Right now we're helping creators transition into business and monetization. That's basically what we're about.
No, that's awesome. How do people find you? And website, please share.
Yeah, I mean, our website's famecastmedia.com, right? We're on Instagram, it's Famecast, right?
I follow, yep.
And yeah, we have, there you can check out, we have events going on probably once or twice a week here, right? We have a lot of workshops with creators. We do a lot of collaborations and different things. And we're behind a lot of creators where you don't see our name, but we're kind of there. We like to be the kingmaker, not the king, right? Or the queen maker, right? So we help a lot of creators behind the scenes to kind of help them mold and build their businesses.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by in your studio and allow us an opportunity to come continue to elevate our brand with Island City and the Coach V Show. And thanks for sharing your success, significance, and all of your influence with us today here on the Coach V Show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the Coach V Facebook, Island City Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out Famecast. Subscribe and follow them on Instagram. I do. And then check out this. And then also get a hold of them on their website should you have some creation needs. And everyone out there that is in this space has creation needs. And that's why I'm here today. So thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. And we will see you on this next episode of the Coach V Show next Mana Motivation Monday right here on Island City. And we will see you soon. Rex, Coach V here, signing out. Famecast, Island City. Until next week. Choo-hoo!